Have you ever wanted to go into Cyrodiil and dominate your enemies? Do that solo playstyle where you gank and one-shot your enemies, then you get the hate whispers telling you how bad you are, but it's really them that died in one shot. If so, this is the build for you. We're going to go over everything from the skills to the gear, a few different gear setups you can possibly use. We're going to go over tips and tricks, how to survive, and pretty much everything you need to know about running this build. So if you're ready, I am. Let's get started. So I'm on my Nightblade here, and I've been in Cyrodiil ganking a ton. The first night that I was in Cyrodiil, really, when I started putting a build similar to this together, I got over 100 kills, killing blows, not just tap a target and they actually get the kills. I got 100 killing blows. And after that, I refined it, fine-tuned it, and I think I got it to a place where this build is pretty insane. So first, let's talk about the gear. So we're running two 5-piece sets. We're running one mythic. We're running one special weapon. They call them like ability modifier weapons. So, and a 1-piece shoulder. So first, let's talk about the two 5-piece sets. First, we're running Deadly. Deadly is a pretty insane set. I don't know why I actually haven't ever ran it on any of my bow builds. The 2, 3, and 4-piece are just really good damaging. The 5-piece increases your damage of your physical, bleed, poison, and disease damage over time, and channeled abilities by 20%, which is absolutely huge. That's just a massive increase. This is going to make us hit really hard with our snipes and really, oh man, so much of anything. Then the other 5-piece we are running is Swamp Raiders. Now, if you know me, you know that I absolutely love this set, especially when it comes to your bow builds. This set is pretty big. It gives you upwards of 600 weapon damage if you have everything legendary. I don't, of course, but it's right now adding me 586. I'm not going to miss that 14 weapon damage, maybe 15 or 16 weapon damage. I think 16 weapon damage if you count the 4-piece bonus, a little bit of stamina, a little bit of crit. That's not a big deal. So those are the two 5-piece sets. I am running 2 well fitted, and I am running 1 impen, which is on my shoulders here, the Veladrith. But realistically, I would rather have divines here. So we want 5 divines, 2 well fitted. I like the 2 well fitted just for a little bit of survivability, a little bit of, reduced dodge cost. It's pretty good. You are going to dodge a little bit here, as you're going to see in the clips, but pretty good. Now, I am, like I said, running Veladrith. What you should actually run is Crags, but I didn't have a nice deadly piece. And I didn't want to go and swap it in there. But as you know, for my builds, I'm going to give you what I'm running. But it just shows you that you don't actually need complete min-max, legendary, everything. I know most content creators, when you see a build, it's going to be full legendary, but I want you to know, especially when it comes to your armor pieces, you don't need to legendary them out. You get so little bonus from it. It's pretty microscopic. Now, we are running infused jewelry across the board, and after your weapon, I would legendary these out first. These are going to give you your most bang for your buck. Especially when you have that infused trait, you really want to pump up that weapon damage as much as possible, and it's pretty good. I know it's extremely expensive, but realistically, as long as you have purple everything and then legendary weapons, you'll be just fine. So now let's talk about the mythic we are running. We are running the Ring of the Wild Hunt. This is insane in this build. It allows you to basically outrun literally everybody. It allows you to get into the Zergs, get out of Zergs. We are not running really much in pen at all. You shouldn't be running anything. I am running 1 piece, but like I said, you'd rather have that divines. But you can run this and you are so survivable because you are so slippery and people just can't catch you with the setup that I'm running. Okay, so this, you can change every set on here. The one thing I would not change is this ring right here. I would run this. Who cares about Sithis? Who cares about what brutality or whatever? The Ring of Markoth. Whatever, like Malakath's band. Sorry, I mispronounced like 10 times. This is the mythic you want to run. This ring is insane. Okay, next, we're just gonna show you the bow here, and we are running a sharpened with a poison. The poison we are running is a damage health poison. It's going to give you a nice poison damage for 2.3 seconds. It's going to inflict minor vulnerability and inflict defile. This is what I've been running on the latest build. You can run a little bit more damage setup if you run this double poison. This does quite a bit more damage, but doesn't afflict minor or defile. And if you have a little bit of follow-up, this will do a little bit more damage because it is going to inflict that minor vulnerability. So pretty good. So it's kind of whatever you want to run. I definitely do suggest to run a poison here. These aren't that expensive, so make sure you go get some and slap them on there. Even if you can't get these specific ones, just run whichever your favorite poison is. You can run these crown store poisons. These are okay, but well, these are essentially the double poison there, right? Yeah. So you can run these as well, but I really like these poisons right here. The minor defile is really good, and the minor vulnerability is really good as well. So the last piece of gear we are running the Vatashram Malt. You don't need perfected. The perfected is a little bit better. It gives you a little bit of stamina, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. I do have a sharpened trait here. You want defending back here, but honestly, it really doesn't matter. If you have one, slap it back here. It doesn't even have to be legendary. The only thing you're using on this bar at all is buffs, so you're never going to attack from this back bar other than super extreme situations, so don't really worry about it. And you'll see that when it comes to our skills. So let's talk a little bit about food and a little bit about vampirism. So food, you either want to run Bewitched Sugar Skulls or Braised Rabbit. I run Braised Rabbit. It is just really good, cheap, buy stat food. As you can see, the craft cost is next to nothing. You can buy this at your, local vendor, your guild vendor. This is super cheap, super good. It gives you 2 buy stat food. We do rely a lot on our magic pool, which is the reason why you can run Sugar Skulls, but you really don't need it. Now, when it comes to our potions, I have tried a bunch of different potions out, and please trust me on this. The best thing that you can run, in my opinion, is tripods. Tripods are insane on this build because you want that tri-stat. Each one of those stats are very important to your survivability, and if you survive longer, you will deal more damage. So keep that in mind, because I was running crit pots, and I was running the speed pots, and I was running, invis pots. I was running it all, and I kept coming back to this, and once I really stuck with it, it's just insane. You will see when I talk about how to get away and stuff like that, how I really incorporate these. These are insane. Please trust me. These are what you're going to want to run. Okay, now we are a vampire for the 2 passives, which I'll show you here in a second, but the 2 things you want to make sure you keep on you is Bloody Mara and Purifying, 2 of the Purifying and the Corrupting. So essentially, whenever you're going to keep your stages at 2, so what you'll do is whenever you get back to 1, you'll go ahead and hit one of these, which will take you to 4, and then you'll drink 2 more of these, which will put you back down to 2, and then you'll go back to eating your food. And you can run this. It is just a little bit worse. It is just a little bit worse, but it does. There's no need to run this. Let's just be completely honest. Just run the buy stat food. We're not a werewolf, so it doesn't matter. All right. Yeah. So then you run these 2, and that way it'll keep your vampirism at stage 2. So now that we're talking about vampirism, let's go ahead and kind of discuss why we're running vampire. You can probably imagine, but we're running it for strictly these 2 passives. Now, this is the reason why you want to keep it stage 2. There's a big downfall to going to stage 3. You're like, Parfax, but then you get the undeath passive. It is not worth the undeath passive if we are taking so much more damage. It is. Do not go to stage 3. It is not worth it. You do not need these at all. I know you're like 30%. No, just trust me. Don't go to stage 2. Just stay at stage 2. Then reduce the cost of sprint. Trust me, we have no mana issues. Sprinting is absolutely not a problem. We are running 7 pieces of medium for a couple passives here. The big one here is improved sneak cost. Reduce the cost of sneaking by 7% for each piece, which your current is 49%. Reduce the size and detection radius or detection area while sneaking by 5%. Again, current bonus is 35%. This is going to make it to where we never actually have to leave stealth. You'll see by some of the stuff I put on my bar, and I'll show you why here in a second, but we can essentially, with just keeping up a basic stamina pot, go infinitely and keep our stamina up pretty much max the entire time while sneaking around absolutely everywhere, and we never have to go out of stealth until we attack. Also, you get some extra bonuses, obviously, medium armor, but everybody knows that. So let's talk about the skills. Let's start at the back bar since we were talking about the sneaking. So we are running channeled acceleration. This is insane. That extra movement speed is really, really good. It's definitely better than the other morph of acceleration. Channel acceleration is pretty insane on this build. We're running Reaper's Mark. Now, Reaper's Mark is an ability here. You really can flip it out for whatever you want, because you almost never mark anybody. The only time you really use this is to, one, help out one of your friends, or two, if you see one of your friends fighting somebody, or by I mean friend, I mean your faction, or even enemy faction, someone's gonna die, you can pop this on them just to get that major berserk for 5 seconds, and then try to one-shot somebody from there. But you never want to mark your target before you hit them, because you want to be able to hit them with instant damage and kill them. If they can get off and block, dodge roll, all that kind of stuff, it is going to be not good. So please, please, please do not mark your target. You know, I've trolled some people. You'll see in the clip, I have one person where I go up and I mark him, and I just wait to see what he's going to do. 99% of the time, people just go. But he had a lot of people around him, and he thought I wasn't going to be able to kill him, but I did, especially with the mark. Even with people healing him, even with him dodge rolling and misforming, I'm still able to get the kill. Rally, self-explanatory. We get the stamina regen buff, we get the weapon damage, the heal, all good. Just a side note, if you are in stealth and you're crouching and you need a heal, vigor, which is on my front bar, will take you out, but if you just hit rally, it will not take you out. So use the rally heal when you need it if you're in stealth and you can't afford to get out of it. Then you have leeching strikes. Leeching strikes is another ability that's going to help us stay in stealth permanently. It also is going to give us a little bit of back resources. As you can see there, when we hit it, it's going to give you a 20-second buff. And then at the end of that 20 seconds, it's going to give you 4,270, and it only costs 800 stamina to use. So that is just a net gain in stamina, and we are going to use this to help stay in stamina, or stay in health, and you know, crouching for as long, sneaking around, and it's just a pretty decent skill as is. And of course, we're using Shadowy Disguise, Insta Crit, really good cloak skill. Obviously, everybody knows it. We're running Dawnbreaker Smiting here. I pretty much never use this. I think I used it twice in the last couple of days, and both times I didn't get the kill. So honestly, put whatever you want here. I just put the Dawnbreaker for a little bit of AoE slash utility, but realistically, you can put anything here you want. Maybe the Sigic Order might be a little bit better here. Get a little bit of damage reduction. So that's probably, actually, that's probably what I would do now that I'm thinking of it. My clips, I'm not going to have it, but honestly, just put that there for the ultimate itself plus the 5% damage reduction. Next, let's talk about the front bar, the good here. First, we have Magnum Shot. If you know, I love this skill. This is a pretty insane little knockback. I use it to interrupt people from rezzing each other. I use it for when people are off their horse to one-shot them. Sometimes even when they're on their horse, I'll use it for all the damage that you can put out at 1 sec, you know, basically at the exact same time. We have Lethal Arrow. Lethal Arrow is obviously your big spammable. It puts Minor Defile, which reduces their healing received, which you also get from the poison. So actually you can use the other poisons are a little bit better. I was swapping around the morphs trying to decide which one I want to use, and I had a bunch of those crafted, so we use those. Then we have Vigor. We don't use this skill that often, but obviously it's the best heal you can have for stamina. Then we have Camouflage Hunter. We're using it for the weapon crit passive. We're using it for it does get useful a little bit with its, you know, you can root people from stealth, and then you gain the Mind of Berserk for 5 seconds when you deal critical damage from an enemy's flank, which we will be flanking because people will be running past us, so it's not too bad. Then we have Relentless Focus. Honestly, we just need an assassin ability here. We rarely use this, but it's on our bar just in case. I have used it a couple times when you're basically boxing somebody. You don't really want to box anybody. You don't want to brawl with anybody. You want to basically one-shot them and get back into stealth, but you can use it. And then one of my favorite abilities in the bar is Ballista. You'll see some funny clips where essentially I have a target there and I put down Ballista. I give them a light attack knockback with the Magnum Shot, and then load up a snipe. And most of the time, before I even get a chance to snipe him, the Ballista's killed him. It's pretty good. You can go with the other morph, which definitely does more damage against tankier targets, but this will allow you to kill targets while trying to escape, or get them on their back foot while allowing you to escape. You'll see a pretty cool kill that I have. Actually, on the target, I believe I marked that. It's the same target. He's in there twice, but I don't remember if it's the kill, but he goes into misform. When he goes into misform, I drop the Ballista. I think my poisons are ticking on him, and I dodge roll and get out of jail, and the Ballista finishes him off, and I get a couple cool Ballista kills in there. So really cool. So that's the skills. Let's talk a little bit about the playstyle. So essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to stay stealth 100% of the time. You want to make sure you keep your buffs up. And so now you can essentially run around. This is why Ring of the Wild Hunt is so good, because it really allows you to just traverse the world at such a speed while staying in stealth. Now, let's say you kill a target, right? There's like typically some bunnies and stuff around here. But let's say, snipe, boom, comboed him, he's dead, right? So the main thing you want to do, because I will go in, if there's a Zerg, there's a bunch of people, I will still walk up in the middle of them and I will blast somebody. Like, I am not afraid at all. But the one thing you want to do is, boom, we snipe them, you dodge roll, get the heal up. If you actually do it correctly, so watch, I'm going to heal and dodge roll at the same time. So dodge roll, heal. Look at that. So if you do it correctly, if you hit the heal as you're dodge rolling, so like hit the heal and then a split second later, like an eighth of a second, then dodge roll. So heal, dodge roll. It's the same thing that I kind of put in one of my videos about increasing your DPS. You can animation cancel things with dodge roll, like your execute, your light attacks and stuff like that. You can do with the dodge roll. So you can do them both at the same time. Do that, get your back bar cloak. Essentially, that's how you get away. Now you're like, Parfax, I do that and people still catch me. Well, here's the key about using cloak efficiently. And you're going to see this in some of my clips. When you shoot somebody, then we're like, all right, we're getting out, boop, we're going to cloak. When you cloak, they will see you running this way, right? And if this person's right behind you, they're going to go, I'm going to blow my breath in front of you, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to try to kill you. I'm going to streak this way, right? So you dodge roll, cloak, and instantly turn. But don't turn until you're cloaked and then run around behind them. Make sure you're not going to run into their big AoEs. A lot of times, if they don't have anything, and let's say they're right on me, like, let's say this person, that's a person, right? I'll go like this. I'll just instantly turn around and go behind them, especially if they're not like a Dragonite, or I'm just afraid they're going to streak me out or whatever they have. I will just cloak, especially if they're like a Templar who just spams biting jabs in front of them. You can then just cloak and get behind them, and then you're going away. I rarely die on this build. Now, of course, I will die because I will go deep. I will go in the middle of the Zerg to get a kill, which is fine. It's fine to die, but I am not afraid at all. So that's how you really utilize cloak. You can, if you're really feeling like, oh man, I need to get shade down, you can take off either Reaper's Mark or Leeching Strikes, and you can put up your shade and shade before you do it. But I like to just be undetected as much as I can. I don't want anything around me that can do it. And I have gotten so good at actually just manipulating people with my cloak. Just whip it around on them and you're gone. That you really don't need shade at all. Especially since we're doing range. Now, if you're doing melee, shade might be something you have to do. That's part of the reason why I like this build so much, because we are ranged and because we can instantly kill people from quite far away, that our cloak is good enough and allows us to put some extra tools on our bar to really help us out. So now the one big thing that I had to learn when I came back is really target selection. So essentially when I'm like scanning the field, right, I'm like, okay, who do I want to kill? Who do I want to kill? If you look, see, we have this person in front of me, this random person that's just near me, and the only thing I'm really looking at is health bars. You see this guy right here? He has 33,000, and this guy has 17,000. I essentially try to attack targets that are 26,000 and below, and there's a ton of them out there. Now, can you kill people with higher health? 100%. But especially if they're at 21,000, you can get a snipe with the poison ticking on them that'll almost one-shot them just in general. Like, it's really, really good. So you basically can get to the point where you can just one-shot people with the snipe. Now, once you have your target picked out, there's basically two ways that you can try to kill them. So the first way in is the easiest, right? We're fully buffed. You rotate all these buffs at all times because you never know when someone's going to pop up. Many times, I wasn't prepared and somebody came up to me that I knew I could have killed, but I wasn't prepared. So make sure you keep up these 4 buffs up at all times. So you have 2 ways essentially. You can do essentially just 2 snipes you can weave the light attacks after them. So you do like a snipe, hold down left click as you're sniping, and we're not gonna have a target anywhere near here I'm gonna be able to do it to. But if you snipe, hold down left click, so the snipe will go off, and then you'll be able to easily weave your snipe after your light attack. And the reason why you want to do that after is because you don't want to you don't want to alert them that you're coming with a light attack, weave, and snipe. So you snipe, hold down left click, and then you will do a light attack weave after the left click, and then you can load up another snipe. So that is one of the easiest ways, and that's the best way if they're on a horse to kill them. They're coming up, load them up as they're coming up to you, go snipe, light attack, and 99% of the time they're going to be dead if they're low health. Another way, and one of my favorite ways to do it, is snipe, hold down left click, hit them with a magnum shot. And when you hit them with the magnum shot, all those three things will basically hit at the same time with the poison ticking on them. And especially if you're running the double poison here, this one, it is so much damage on them at the same time. It is just absolutely brutal for people to try to heal through. Now, the one thing that I learned is never stop hitting that snipe button. Like, if you think you're gonna kill him, you'll see some clips of me kind of doing like a fadeaway. Like I'll hit him and then I'll just like walk back. And a lot of times that's because I'm getting pressured really hard. But if you're open, just keep sniping, because they can just hop off, dodge roll, heal, block. They can do a lot of things to really get themselves back up. So now we talked about the play style. We've talked about basically how you get away and how you survive. Let's talk a little bit about the champion points. We're gonna go over this just pretty quickly because this video is already pretty long. We are running fighting finesse, backstabber, deadly aim, master of arms. I'm not gonna lie to you here. I was using thaumaturge here through most of these clips, and I'm still one-shotting people, and that is not nearly as much damage as this. We really aren't running many damage over time effects. Essentially, we just have our poisons. So at one point I was running a double proc build, which I'll talk about in a second, and this is pretty good, or at least I was running a version of it. There's a version of it you can run, but you want to run these, and then if you have a little points, make sure you get preparation. It is 10% damage reduction, which is huge. You get the penetration from here, which is really good. Get all your flat stats, your crit, all that good stuff. Then when it comes to red, I wasn't running Juggernaut, which I really didn't need it, but so we're running Juggernaut, which is just an insane PvP skill. We're running these three, which are pretty typical, and then of course make sure you get your max health. Other than that, I do like the break free and the dodging passives here, and then you get the sprint passive as well. This one is definitely farther down on the list. Movement speed while sprinting, which is really good. It can be helpful, and that's about it. When it comes to the green tree, pretty self-explanatory. I actually don't even have it here, but you want the Ghost Rider passive, then you want the Steed's Blessing. I was actually doing some other things in this character, which is the reason why I don't have it. But you want this passive, and then literally anything else you want. You can actually go, where's it at? Oh, here's a good one. Reduce the movement speed penalty of sneaking. We're vampires, so really that doesn't really matter. Fall damage taken. Just get your passives. It's all very self-explanatory. This tree really doesn't matter, but make sure you get this and this. Other than that, you can pick literally whatever you want. You can get the war mount too if you really want to. All right, so that's the build, that's the class, that's the tips. The only thing else I will say is when it comes to other sets you can run, if it's really laggy, you can run Venomous Smite. I actually have the bow with it too. You can run Venomous. I would do Venomous with probably Deadly, and that'll be a lot of damage, and it'll allow you to get that procs from the double poison, and you'll just be able to hit them once and get the poison. If you want something kind of really cheesy and you want to run a melee build, you can run Venomous with Unleashed, with you know, with the Vatastram two-hander, and maybe like the back bar of the Master's Bow. You can run that, and then just when you gap close to somebody from stealth, it'll proc both of your sets there. And I'd still probably run Ring of the Wild Hunt just because it is just so good, but you can do some really crazy things with that. But if it's really laggy, maybe suggest running instead of Swamp Raider, maybe just swap in Venomous. But you'll see clips here where it was very laggy, and I did just fine. I was able to one-shot people. The only bad part about when it gets pretty laggy is snipes sometimes can take an excessive amount of time to actually go through, but it's still pretty good. But remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. You can watch me on Twitch. I've been running this build, probably some this week as well. Twitch.tv/Parfaxgaming. You make sure you just come over there. You don't need to do anything. You don't have to follow if you don't want to. I'd appreciate it. But we'll be doing a lot of PvP, having some fun, and just having a good time. All right, guys, thanks for watching. This is a very long video, but I'm excited to get it out to you. I hope you enjoy the clips that are coming up after this, and I hope you have a great day.